All right, what is going on, everybody? It is Edwin here for Strictly Comics, and it is a Sunday morning, not Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and I had some time to kill, and I didn't do a video Wednesday because I got my books late, and then Thursday being the 4th of July, I just, not that I wasn't motivated, but I just thought that there was going to be way too many people busy on the 4th of July Thursday, so I decided, you know what, I'll just do a random video for Sunday today. And just show you guys what I picked up for the 4th of July weekend. I picked up some dollar books. Some books were free. And I also got my new comic books. So I'm just going to kind of show all those in just one lump viewing of all these books. So there's not going to be any particular order for which I show these books. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Actually, first, I'm going to show my final part 3 to my largest CBCS comic book haul either Wednesday or Thursday. I'm starting a new job this week, and that's kind of what I'm shooting for is Wednesday or Thursday. So hopefully I can get to it, but keep an eye out for that because I do want to show these final, what I got, like 10, 15 slabs from CBCS that I got to show, and hopefully you guys will like it. So let's get right into it. This right here is a comic book with Mike Tyson. What it tells is kind of like a comic book form storytelling of the history and life of Mike Tyson. And the reason why I got that is because Mike Tyson is going to be here in Houston doing a private signing at a sports store on the 20th. And I'm a big comic book guy. Most people are getting boxing gloves for him to sign. They're getting belts for him to sign. I mean, those are fine, but I want something that's kind of slabbed. Might add a little bit more value, and because if you ever have to sell these things, it may be a little harder without some kind of COA or some kind of validation to the signature, because he's charging $125 a signature, and then with the fees that you have to go through online, it's like 130. So I am just getting him to sign this. I'm also getting him to sign probably this one. There's not a lot of comic books with Mike Tyson. I looked up and saw like Mike Tyson's first appearance in comics was like Batman, like 466 or something like that. And all it was a Batman was chasing somebody in like a museum, and there was like a robotic statue of Mike Tyson and some other championship boxers, and that was basically quote unquote his first appearance. So I got these instead. I thought that these would be much cooler to have him sign. And this one's got like a little, this is the only copy I've got of this one. I've got about 7 copies of this one, but this one's got some staple rust. I'm going to try and clean it and see what I can do with that, because this one is actually presents way nicer than the other one. And these ones are a little bit harder to come by from what I can tell. So anyways, I got these. Up next, I'm going to show some signed books that I got thanks to Adam, Comically Flawed. He got Rick Leonardi to sign this for me. And this is the first appearance of Spider-Man 2099. Spider-Man 2099 is one of my favorite Spider-Man characters, mainly because I grew up reading his comics all the way from issue number 1 back in 1992, 1993. So I'm a huge fan. Plus, I love the design of the costume. But anyways, as you can see, I got Randy Amberlin, Mark Bagley, Rick Leonardi, Aaron Lopresti, and I think for whatever reason I gave this to Peter David twice, and he signed 2 times. So, so anyways, whatever. It's a cool book to have. This one's at least 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, somewhere around there. So really high grade copy, and maybe I'll get it slabbed one day when I get all my signatures. There might be a couple more I might try to get, but other than that, I got that. Next, I want to show this right here. I love this book. I think we all know what this is. I grew up in the 90s when this book came out, and I remember shops like on Friday, like, comic books come out on Wednesday. On Friday, you couldn't find this book for under like $75, $50, $100. It was such a hot book. And to this day, I'm actually surprised how it still holds some value, especially as many as these have been printed. These are still easily a $10, $15, and upwards of $20 book. if it's still sealed. So I was really happy to have this. And I don't think I will ever take it out of its bag just because I have multiple copies to get them to sign later if I want to get it slabbed. But this is just more for my PC. And I got Dan Jurgens, Tom Grummett, Jerry Ordway, and Brett Breeding to sign this. Doug Hazelwood is a Texas native, so I'm going to get him to sign it, and maybe a couple other people after him. But I was really happy to get this. And again, shout out to Comically Flawed, because he got the Grummett and the Jerry Ordway signature for me over at Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. All right, up next are these right here. A friend of mine came across some comics, and he doesn't really, have any, use for them. So he actually gave me a huge box of comics for free, and these were in there. One of these are at least in like 9.6, 9.8 condition. Another one might be like 9.4, and the other one is like more like VF. But he gave them to me for free, so I was happy to take them. It was a easily good short box full of books, and there was just a handful that he had that I thought that I wanted to have to flip or to put in my PC, and the rest I'm actually going to give to the kids here in my apartment complex because it's summertime. And I'm just trying to do what I can, do my part to try to keep the hobby alive. Because as a lot of people know, comic books are not, I wouldn't say it's a dying hobby, a dying industry, but the comic sales are just not what they were in the 70s and the 60s and in the 90s, and of course the 80s. So I'm just trying to do what I can to the next generation. And I got about 2 full short boxes of just comics that I'm going to give to the kids here in the apartment complex, and hopefully they take to them and they enjoy and want to continue with the hobby. So, but I got these, and I might sell 1 or 2 of these, maybe all of them. I'm not sure, but I was really happy that he gave these to me. Also, in that batch that he gave me was this right here, First Nebula. And this is pretty high grade. This is after pressing, this should easily be a 9.4. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm not like a huge Avengers or Nebula fan. And especially now with the Endgame in theaters and probably going to be leaving theaters soon. A lot of these books with these characters, Thanos, they're all just starting to go down in value. So I'm not sure. Maybe this will be like a giveaway or something. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just try to sell it on the cheap. But either way, I was really happy to have it. This is like the 3rd copy I've had. And I sold the other 2. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up selling this one. But I got that. And I'm very grateful for it. Some books that I got at my LCS during their comic book sale for the 4th of July. I got TMNT Adventures number 3. I got number 2, and then I got number 1. They need to be pressed. They're kind of bowing out, and they need to be pressed, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do with these. This was like one of the very first comic books that was ever given to me as a kid. I think it was actually number 2. I don't think I had number 1. And my dad bought this for me, and that was kind of the beginning of me just really enjoying comic books. But for this one, for y'all don't know, this is actually the first appearance of Bebop and Rocksteady in comic books. They're more in human form here, and I think here's where they turn into the mutants. And I've actually had both of these, but I've never had part 3. So now I got the complete run. Funny thing is I tried to sit down and enjoy reading this, but it's almost word for word from the first 2 or 3 episodes of the 1987 TMNT cartoon. So it's almost word for word, and like reading it, like, pretty much what's going to happen. So, but I enjoyed it, and happy to have these in my PC. These 2 I might sell just because this is really the only one that I need. But yeah, I was happy to get these. I got these for like all 3 for like less than $6. And what else did I get? This was a nice And sorry, guys, these are not in bags and boards just because I ran out and my LCS, they don't have any more either. So I'm just kind of waiting for them to get their shipment in so that I can properly bag and board a lot of these books. But, you know, either way, I'm just going to go ahead and show them as is. This right here is actually the second appearance of Mr. Freeze, but it's actually the first time in comics that he's actually called Mr. Freeze, because in Batman 121 he's called Mr. Zero. And I actually read this. This was not a bad read. I paid pretty much what it was worth. I paid like $20 for it. I already read it. I'm going to press it, clean it up, and I might sell it just because I think I want a little bit better copy. It is attached and it is complete, but it's probably more along the lines of like a VG copy, probably no higher than that. But it's not a bad read. It's a Silver Age book. First time Mr. Freeze is called Mr. Freeze in comics. And this is actually a very desirable book, especially in high grade. This is probably like the next best thing next to a Batman 121, just because even in like a 4.5, 3.5 copy, you're looking at like $2,000-$3,000 for that particular book in that grade. So this, I think, is the next best thing. So I was really happy to have this. Some new books that I picked up. This right here, Transformers Ghostbusters #1. I read this. This was such a good read. Very nostalgic. I highly recommend it. The only problem with it was such a very fast read, and I wanted to read immediately the next issue. So I would actually recommend this more so in trade than individual issues. But it was a super fun copy or issue, and highly recommended. Very, very nice. I also picked up this. Not that I buy too many alternate comics, but the owner of Alternate Comics was on an episode of Comic Conversation with Jesse and Justin and Boston Chris and I probably like a year or two ago. And, I like to support indie comics and other artists and publishers. And for $1.50, I just couldn't think that I could go wrong. Plus, it is in #1. So I was really happy to get that. I also got Batman TMNT 3, issue #3. This is actually the third series. I have the complete series of series 1 and 2. I read all of series #1. I still need to read 2 and then this third one, but the first one was just so good that I could not see myself being disappointed reading the next one. So I got that. For New Comic Book Day Wednesday, I also picked this up. I just got it because it was an Image #1. From what I understand, this is not the first appearance of anybody, and that this was actually Postal, I guess, was printed before. I guess it's just called Postal Deliverance. So, but anyways, I picked that up. I also picked up Space Bandits #1. I actually probably read both of these #1s. This looks like a really cool comic book. I love the colors. They really, really pop. And I actually can't wait to get into that and to read that. I also grabbed this right here. I'm actually a subscriber to TMNT, and my LCS told me that this book is kind of hot, and I didn't know why. And I went online and I found out that I guess this is the first appearance of a female turtle. I haven't looked through it to find out what she looks like, and I'm not going to and waste anybody's time. But I was happy to have this. Looking forward to issue #100 as we rapidly approach that. But I guess this is a hot book. I'm seeing online it's going anywhere from $10 to $20 online. First appearance of a female turtle. So hey, if you guys got the opportunity to grab that, maybe it's a nice speculation purpose. So go out there and grab that. And that's pretty much all I picked up for New Comic Book Day Wednesday. Some more of the dollar issues that I picked up from my LCS during the 4th of July. I got this right here for $1. G.I. Joe issue #126. That's just a really, really cool cover. And I actually think I'm really digging these G.I. Joe 90s comics. I'm probably going to start reading some of them. But whenever I can find these on the cheap, especially the higher number, because I think 155 was the last issue, and that's like one of the more expensive issues. But as you get into the 130s and 140s, they just had such a small print run that anytime you can find them on the cheap or in high grade at affordable price, I say pick them up. I also grabbed this right here. The reason why I just grabbed this is because I'm actually trying to complete a run, and I think I need issues like 1 through 12 or 1 through 13. So this was just to fill in some holes. So I got Scarlet Spider #1. For $1, I also picked this up, Stormwatch #1. And as you can see, it's a newsstand copy. And this one's actually in pretty high grade. It's probably like a 9294. And it's a newsstand, so those are more rare than well, we all know that the Image stuff is not rare because they printed off millions and millions of copies. But to have a newsstand for $1, really happy to grab that. That was kind of a no-brainer for me. Also for $1, I just picked this up. It's in really high grade, early Liefeld, New Mutants #94. This is when I actually really enjoyed Liefeld's artwork, was in the 90s. I don't think he's a very good artist anymore. And I think a lot of it is just laziness and you're kind of living off your big name, so you don't really need to, just because all your fanboys and fangirls will pretty much just suck up anything that you dish out. But I don't buy too much Liefeld artwork now, but this right here, I just kind of had to get for $1. And also got this for $1. This is actually the first appearance of Barbed Wire in comics, but this is more like a silver. I don't know if it was, I think it was like a diamond exclusive or something like that. It's more rare than the regular cover. The regular cover has a lot of pink and blue and it really pops. But I was actually looking for this because I wanted to get, hopefully if Pamela Anderson is back at Fan Expo next year or something, I'll get her to sign this as well as the other copy, the regular copy. But to get this for $1, which was kind of cool, because I think this is like a $10 to $20 book online. It does have its issues. It's in like a 92, 94 condition, but for $1, I couldn't go wrong. And then next, this is not really anything special, but the reason I'm showing it is because online with shipping, you can get about $50 for it. And I have a near complete run of A versus X. Got them all for $1 a piece. I'm not going to show them all. I'm just missing #7. That's the only one that I'm missing. And the only reason, again, why I bought it is just it's a quick flip on eBay. Like I said, you can get easily $40-50 with shipping on eBay. So this will easily put a $20-30 bill in my pocket. So I was really happy to grab that. And then what else do we got? Last but not least, I got this right here. Transformers Beast Wars issue #1. This looks to be in pretty high grade. Again, I'm a big Transformers fan, so I never knew that they had a comic book of this. But, it's Transformers Beast Wars issue #1 by IDW, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And I'll actually probably read this and see if I want to pick up the rest. I guess it's a B cover, but cool cover nonetheless. So that is it, everybody. Please make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. I always appreciate it. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I post a lot of really cool things on there. I also have a raffle going on of Uncanny X-Men 248 signed by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. It's a CBCS 9.8. If anybody's interested, $18 a spot, 9 spots left. I'm going to start pushing and promoting that again come this week. So check that out. Until then, everybody, I will see you guys hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. Have a great week. Peace.